Game 2 goes to Polt. It's time for Game 3. Casters?
Thank you, Clutch. As always, we're going to be moving over to Abyssal City, another very extremely large map. We're just getting ready to organize everything, and it looks like the players are ready, so we're going to start off Abyssal City. It's a new map that was reintroduced into NASL, or excuse me, it was introduced into NASL, but it took out Muspelheim. We originally had that, and I have to say, we've had some fantastic games coming in on this map.
That's true. Abyssal City was really cool. I think my favorite TVZ was MMA versus Sen from this past season. It was awesome Marine Tank against Meterling Baneling for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's because as you expand in Abyssal City, you open yourself up to more attacks. So I'm looking for more aggression out of Polt if he can do that and go into game number 3. He has the momentum. Best of 5 has now become a best of 3. Let's get ready for game number 3. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it, Frodan. I can't wait to see what we have from this game. We've seen all different styles. What really comes to my mind is Life versus MVP in the Code S finals. It was absolutely insane. You saw Mech on this map. Normally Mech, you say, well, it's a big map. Why would you go that? But MVP really showcasing how, with good positional play, you can do that and be so powerful, taking out your 4th, 5th, and 6th expansions and just dropping back to your base and making sure you have those singular pushes to put so much pressure on the Zerg.
That's right. Let's go ahead and introduce our players starting over in the top left. We have the yellow Zerg. He's also red. On my screen, he's yellow, but that's because he is golden. And over here, the blue Terran from TSL, a GSL winner and assembly winner, it is TSL Polt.
Polt was the overwhelming favorite going into this, but Golden really showing a lot of life in not only the first, but the second game. I think a lot of people thought, oh, this is a very clear 3-0 sweep for Polt, but my goodness, there's so much skill in NASL right now. This is just the first series, and we're seeing so much of it. Already we see a 14 CC going down, so no real indicator to know whether or not he's going something like, oh, it's too early. We don't know if it's bio or mech. 15 hats, so absolutely standard. Frodan, I know you've been playing a lot of Terran. What do you prefer on this map, bio or mech?
I don't know necessarily because I haven't played on this map specifically.
Yeah.
Abyssal City is really big, and like you said, it's like we were talking about. As you expand, you find yourself opening yourself up for more areas of exposure. You can get counterattacked, you can get dropped. Like the third base, for example, there's like a small little ledge where you can drop. It's even called docking bay. So it's a nice area for you to do that while being able to push at the natural front. And there's multiple ramps, kind of like Antigua Shipyard in the center. So I feel like, doing like a bio style is really nice so that you can be aggressive. But like you said, I think mech is also really strong too. But knowing Polt's style, I would like to see him be a little bit more pressure-y because we've been seeing him be thrown off in the first 2 games. He was trying to switch a lot, and in the end, Golden was able to play his game, and Polt had to react. Now, game number 1 went Golden's favor, but I think Polt is feeling really good in going to game number 3.
And you pulled up something that was really important. It's important to note that you haven't played a lot of games on this. I haven't played a lot of games on this map. And the reason is because it's not in the Blizzard map pool. That means if these players want to do well in this map, they have to prepare for it. So we're going to really see the preparation coming into it. Of course, both of them Korean, both of them train for GSL, but this isn't one of the maps where you can just say, hey, yeah, I'm going to go on ladder, train it up a little bit, see how my build does against the wide array of different styles. No, you have to get practice partners and really hone your skills and see what's good, what's bad, what works, what doesn't, and maybe a little intricacies that you can surprise your opponent with. That's what I think is so cool about this map, the surprise factor that we can see in builds.
We have a quick gas pull-off from Golden, so he's not going to do something. He opened up similarly to game number 1, but he's going to withdraw a little bit. Meanwhile, Polt doing similar build to game number 1, going for triple command center with 1 gas after going CC first. So, we saw him last time kind of feign going for double reactor Hellions, or double Hellion production with reactor and blue flame. What will he choose to transition this time?
Well, he has to scramble a little bit. You can see 2 Marines are going to get picked off over here. On top of that, some SEVs might die as well. This is actually significant damage in this early game stage, Frodan, that Polt doesn't want to be encountering.
Yeah, it's more Zerglings than is normal, too. I know I talked to Vibe, for example, on Root, and he says, you know, I only like to make 2, maybe 4 Zerglings at most this early on, and Golden's able to squeeze out a little bit extra, pick off the Marines, and now speed is done. It's just going to make it a little bit difficult for Polt to secure the expansion.
Oh, Hellions are going to pop out, though, so this is good timing. You can see he does kill 2 SEVs up here on the top. The Hellions are able to just back those Zerglings off very nicely. In the meantime, a 3rd base is being taken, so this is very standard play. Look at how many drones are already at the natural. The second gas going down, so we will see some indicator of you know, some sort of tech, whether it be double evolution chambers or really fast lair. You were saying Sen versus Muslim, was it?
MMA.
MMA, yes. Sen versus MMA in the regular season. Mutas being used. And Mutas are such a good choice. On big maps, mobility is going to be the #1 thing. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, Mech is a little bit better because Hellions are very mobile. They don't need to stim and reduce their life. They don't need medevacs to puppy guard them. They can just go. And you're going to see Mutas do the exact same thing. Just out-mobilize your opponent. And Zerglings as well. As we have, Hellions being, no!
Nice job by Polt to dodge those Zerglings, and Polt still has to evacuate some of them, but with 6 Hellions, Zerglings shouldn't be able to do too much. Wasting mining time on the mules is nice for Golden, but he's preparing a lot more Zerglings. He's getting a Bailey Nest as well, and Golden's going to put on a lot of aggression. You know, I thought Polt will be the one that's going to be poking and prodding Golden, but instead it's the other way around.
Now, remember, there is a 3rd orbital command center over here, so the SEV production is very, very high. So Golden might be thinking this is fantastic, this is great, but he's really not doing as much damage. Zergling, Baneling, huge attack coming out here. This is a big 3-base all-in. I love what we're seeing by Golden, really changing up the style. It sees the command center moving over, and that will give him some sort of indicator that his opponent will be caught off guard.
Oh, the Zerglings are trying to get us around. Polt might be locking himself in. Golden does try to go in, but Polt dodges the other way, and he lowers one depot. That way the Banes are forced to go around, but a couple Hellions do drop. Polt's job is not done just yet. Has to kind of avoid the blast splash damage. SCVs are running 4 more. Hellions are coming in. The Bailey's trying to do everything but splits from Polt. SCVs drop. But keep in mind, Andre, you said that it's 3 base all in, but Golden really has nothing at that 3rd base. This is pretty much a 2-base throwback style.
Can you
before
believe
lair?
It? I mean, this is crazy. Golden is actually behind in workers. Yes, you see 34 to 29, but it's important to note each mule is 4.5 efficient mining workers per minute. So you can just add 13.5 to that count. And Polt is way, way ahead. Now another round of Zerglings are coming over here to deny the 3rd base. It'll help a little bit with the SE production and really cutting that, but still, Golden has to do a lot more if he wants to get back economically.
No, this means that if he sees his Zerglings at the 3rd, Polt is free to run into the natural and kill everything. Golden can't stick around. That's why he's calling back his units. He knows exactly what Polt is thinking now. Polt goes to the 3rd and says, well, actually, you really have nothing. So he's going to be able to kill his queen off really easily, and Golden should be shut down here. Polt is so comfortable right now, and Golden's forced to make roaches even when he wants to power drones.
Yeah, roaches just do not make sense if you choose to do it, but he's forced to do it. Roaches are very slow in this early game stage. You don't have your lair up super fast to get that glial reconstitution, which is the roach speed, and they're going to be very rigid. You can't do a lot with them. You can't really put that counterattack on your opponent. So it's unfortunate. You can see a lot of inefficiency in Golden's build, but it's forced because of how aggressive Polt has been.
And Polt hits almost every single creep tumor other than just a couple, and Polt's been able to do this really well while still zoning off the 3rd base. Golden now feels like he has to make a play at the 3rd base of Polt, but he's wisely not even dropping any mules in that department.
That's right.
Just being able to get up his siege tank transition, and that's going to shut down any kind of Roachling Bane play.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're defending, you say, instead of trying to defend it head on, you should just say, I'm going to put pressure on you, and it's going to force your attention away from trying to do damage towards my main, my natural, my 3rd base. So I like what we're seeing so far. And it does force Polt to scramble a little bit, but you can see a siege tank already up, more siege tanks in production, siege mode almost finished, and forcing Golden back is going to be really, really advantageous again for Polt, as he has these very mobile Hellions that are going to go back out onto the field and just threaten his opponent. He wants to do the exact same thing that Golden's been doing to Polt, just force all those units back to defend those drones.
Now, Polt's been very cautious with how he does this. In fact, he's not very ahead at all in terms of economy right now because the third keeps getting denied.
Yes.
Golden's been able to climb back in the worker count, and that's denying this third base. So that's what Golden's been doing to Polt himself. But can he hold off against any kind of attack once Polt gathers his army and goes for a 2-2 push? Because that's what it seems like he's gathering for right now. Golden still, meanwhile, is just getting up the basic structure, like getting out queens, trying to spread out creep, but it's 13.5 minutes of the game. Last time in game number 1, he was already at Hive and he had Broodlords out. He barely has Infestor Tech.
That's really unfortunate. And he still hasn't verified what his opponent is going. Maybe he has, excuse me. He does see a single tech lab on the barracks, so he might say, okay, you're probably going for bio.
Yeah.
Why would you put a tech lab on barracks? Maybe just to defend against all-ins, but still very unlikely. Hellions are going to be caught out a little bit over here in the middle of the map. You can see Polt struggling just to get his footing in the door so he can offer a little bit of counterattack and a little bit of aggression over here. But Golden doing a very good job. He might be able to trap all of these Hellions.
Great job by Golden. Polt does slip by, but not before he loses a few of those. The Hellions are on creep too. They can get caught by a fungal, and they do.
Yes, they
and
do.
in the end, Golden was able to deal with that very nicely, and that's around 800, 900 minerals for Polt. So that's a nice win there for Golden.
Yeah, and Hellions are so good. Even at this mid-game stage, you'd be surprised how powerful they are with these styles that focus so much on getting so many Zerglings. All of a sudden, you have 10 Hellions, 12 Hellions behind all your army, and you just evaporate your opponent's army. That's really, really advantageous. So I feel like Polt did blunder a little bit there, but he is substantially ahead, I think, just because of that Orbital Command Center.
Polt is again going for like an incredible pump of units without many medevacs. I mean, that's been his style throughout this series. But he's just going to have so many units. He's already on 8 barracks, and he has the flexibility of adding a couple more if he wants to just not centralize the focus on medevacs, but instead he's going for 2 factories with double tank production. And this is the push that Polt wanted to do originally in the very beginning of this series. Now his time has been delayed because of the early Baneling bust, but I mean this army from Golden is not that intimidating at all. Look at it.
It's not,
so
but it's on the map. So there's 2 stages for Polt. He has one stage where he needs to reclaim map control and the direction where he wants to push, and then the other stage is actually attacking. So I love what we're seeing. It's going to force Polt to be a lot slower with all of his units. You can see they're spread out, anticipating some sort of huge push. And Polt is playing it really risky because there could be burrowed Banelings, but obviously it's not really affecting him right now as we don't see that just yet. But this push across the map, there's 2 situations that we can have. A counterattack is going to go into the 3rd base. Really nicely done, stopping those SCVs. If Golden can stop this push, he will be so monstrously ahead by denying that 3rd base.
And, well, Polt doesn't know about this 4th, or doesn't know necessarily about how many infestors that Golden has, but he does see a little bit of it, and that's going to make him very cautious to approach with his Marines. In fact, this 3rd base still under siege because Golden has the burrowed roaches as Polt is forced to scan. Now Polt is packing his bags and going home. He thinks he's missed his timing because the Greater Spire is about to finish. And as a result, I guess he's content with cleaning up that 4th base.
Well, he needs to be careful because if he keeps pushing on, he has no added reinforcement to this. He's trying to regroup because that's like maybe he pushed out. That's a minute. And then he's attacking. That's another minute. That's 2 minutes where your opponent has more reinforcements to back up that army. He needs to regroup and then push out again. So I love what we're seeing. It's just this giant back and forth motion from him, but he's doing it right. Pushing across map, coming back, making sure he's safe, getting his 3rd back, pushing again, denying another base, really keeping Golden off of that +6 gas count, which is so important when you're going Hive Tech.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the ability to go for the units, it's the ability to bank, and that's just going to play into key as now we're starting to enter the phase where denying bases is just as good as killing them straight up. As you can see that Golden is trying to position himself, but it's really tough because Polt has so many tanks that it's intimidating for the Zerg army to approach without Broodlords.
But again, it's going to be that Marine Siege Tank Marauder medevac against Broodlords that he's not prepared for. Thankfully, this map offers more counterattacking options, more ability to outmobilize those Broodlords because
tanks.
it's so big.
Andre, a lot of them get caught in the middle of the map, and 3, 4 of them die, and they get fumbled as well. No, this is bad news for Polt as Golden catches a huge part of the Terran army. Oh no, now Polt has to fall back after losing so much.
He does have 2 medevacs, though, filled up with units that can do a ton of damage over to the main base. You can see no real static defense over there. Unfortunately for him, Golden has already retreated back to this 4th base, or 5th base, whatever you want to call it. So he might be a little bit more mobile to defend against this, but he doesn't see it.
And he's going to be able to snipe some important things. Now, what's in the main? Only the spawning pool and a lot of drones. He's going to go straight into it, and Golden's not be able to react in time. He's trying to pull everything. He does have an infestor, but the Hive is under threat. Now, this army isn't very mobile for Golden other than the Zerglings, and he doesn't want to give up too much position.
Oh, man, beautiful fungal right there. He's transfusing the spawning pool, but it's not going to be enough. Again, forcing a little bit of passivity, catching his opponent off guard. Does he fungal? It's just not enough units. Polt doesn't have everything there. Golden's at 183 supply to 162. But Golden, I mean, he's in this situation. Again, he has super fast hive tech, just like Daybreak. He can't push out too fast. He doesn't have the support units necessary to really do tons of damage and be self-sufficient. You can see the Viking count is already pretty high, so he needs to back up from here. Just play defensive, this passive-aggressive role where he's taking map control, but he's not really trying to defend it. Just slow his opponent down to buy as much time to get that hive tech out.
So now we see that Polt, I guess he's taking a very, very, very defensive stance because he lost so much. And Golden has the Infestor Broodlord composition. And Golden's able to do a lot with so little, even in Cloud Kingdom where he had just 5 Broodlords, maybe 7 Infestors, but still was able to confront the army of Polt. Golden doesn't necessarily have the best creep spread, though, just because of Polt's been able to deny it early on. And that's going to make Golden a little bit cautious, because Infestors, as great as they are to lock down things, if you don't break the Terran army, they'll be able to catch it and you lose almost everything. And Golden is going to have to pick the right angle of which to attack if he's going to choose to go for it in a couple of minutes.
That's right. For now, he's still building on the composition I was saying before. Unfortunate for Polt, again, just like that Daybreak game, he doesn't have a real advantage because you want to be getting that high amount of orbital command centers. He just doesn't have the capacity to do that. He's been playing such a scrappy game, but doing a good job with this expansion over here, excuse me, this pressure over here.
Yeah.
The Marines will be cleaned up, but still it forces units back and makes it so that Golden maybe doesn't want to push in just yet. So just buying time for himself. Still, the Viking count is pretty substantial. Let's look at the units tab real quick. 10 Broodlords against 12 Vikings. That Viking count isn't too substantial. Let's look at the Corruptors, 4 and 10 Infestors. So it's going to come down to the fungal growths right now as Polt goes to mobilize. But, you know, that slight nerf, that one range nerf actually affects these battles quite substantially.
Yeah, it's really tough for the Infestors to approach as easily if the siege tanks are providing support. Polt has a nice position on the high ground, and he doesn't necessarily want to overcommit too many units. He has a great spread on the Vikings to avoid that. Now, a lot of the Banelings don't even connect necessarily, and a couple of Infestors are getting picked off as well. And now the Broodlords are going straight into the front, but the Vikings are really well concave, and I don't know if Golden can attack into this, but he's just going to commit to it anyways.
There's so many Corruptors here. You just got a huge round of them. Fungal growth going off on all the units. You can see the Vikings are just placed down there. Golden surging forward. Does he have enough Infestor energy? Nice target fire by those siege tanks, and it's actually giving way for the Marines and Marauders to push forward.
The Marauders don't really have anything to do. There's only Marines left. Polt's going to try to push through. There's not much Infestor left, just like he said, and Golden has to retreat for a moment. The Vikings still trying to pressure onto this composition, but Polt has to retreat because he doesn't have any more units.
Very nicely done, and by Golden holding off right there. You know, it was a little tricky just because, you know, the Marines and Marauders are empowered. A lot of times you would say, well, Marines and Marauders not the best against Broodlords, but if you get the right position with the enough medevacs, you can actually mow down everything. Broodlings won't do nearly as much damage. And with these upgrades, 0-1 on air, that's not that great against 3-3 bio that you can really shred out that army pretty fast. But as we have it, it looks like Polt doing the right decision, trying to take map control as best as possible, switching over to Raven Tech, getting the +2 building armor. That's what I'm talking about, Polt.
No high-sec auto tracking just yet. But we do see that Polt is already preparing his defense in case Zerg is pushing over. More Ravens are on the way. We've seen great usage out of them all series long. from Polt if he's able to use them for detection as well as seeker missiles. You know, Polt's also been utilizing small packs of units to clear out creep, to clean up bases, and Golden, his mobility is not as good as it was before, and this is what you really need to do in Terran Link.
You know, this is good when you're in macro mode on 3 bases with, you know, a booming economy, tons of orbital commanders, but you can't really afford this at this point. You can see he's not maxed out, 133 supply. He's not looking to trade supply. He wants to increase his supply. So I feel like those small little attacks really don't help him as much as, you know, other games where he is maxed and he can easily go to Vikings and Ravens directly after that. So unfortunate for him. We might have another confrontation over here near this 5th base. I feel like Golden has a really nice foothold in this game. You can see by the supplies 190 to 136. I mean, it's so substantial. There's not enough stuff. There's not enough units for Polt. And if Golden pulls the trigger here, I feel like he will come out ahead.
Yes, if he can do that, but we do have more and more Ravens piling up, and Golden didn't show any you know, notion to split his units before. Well, that infestor lasted as long as a call on a T-Mobile connection, man. Well, Golden he's doing this very cautiously. He wants to toss some infested Terrans if he wants to siege to absorb damage. But how else can he go about this? We've seen big flanks on this map before. But the center's not even open, so if he wants to go from a different direction, Golden has to kind of open up a couple more paths.
Yeah, I feel like he shouldn't be attacking into a planetary fortress. A lot of times, you know, those broodlings just get eaten up over there. It's very easy to repair that planetary fortress. So really just go around the army. The trick to playing against Terran, whether it be PvT or ZVT, you always attack where your opponent is not. So you force the units to move over. That's where they're not as efficient. They have to re-siege up. They're not getting the best concave. They have to re-concave out, forcing a lot of micro, and it normally forces a lot of mistakes. That's the #1 thing that you have to focus on. So I feel like what Golden is doing right now is perfect. Moving over to the top, forcing the relocation of all the units, or going into base trade. Base trade is actually very nice for Golden since he has a booming economy. He has an economy for a lot longer and a bank that's a lot bigger.
So the game is now kind of set to this point where neither player really wants to overcommit. Remember, it's best of 5. So, and it's game number 3 for those of you who may be just tuning in or just straggling into the theater. I mean, this moment can swing so decisively in either direction. You can lose all your army to a fungal. You can clump everything into a seeker missile. But Golden's going to make the first move onto one of the exterior bases here from Polt. And Polt's so busy defending the center expansion, he's just going to give this one up?
Yeah, and this is theoretically correct. You can see he has the watchtower over here to verify where his opponent's army is. He knows he's catching his opponent out of position. And look at that. He sees the mobilization and says, I need to get a better position because Ravens are very dangerous if I just clump up. Let me reformat my units and just try to engage in a right position. Because let me tell you, how many Ravens is 8 Ravens out in the field? Is that correct? Yes. That's 8 Hunter-Seeker missiles. That's a lot of dead units if they're clumped up.
I did the math, Andre, and that's 8 Seeker missiles.
8.
While
Nice.
you were talking, I calculated that. I hope you're impressed, Andre,
that's
my
why we're a
math
good
all season has been
compliment,
really bad.
Hey,
We'll see whether or not the engagement from Polt is able to land the Seeker missiles, and we'll see whether or not Golden can split his units correctly. He's doing a good job thus far. Look at the concave.
There's a lot of Broodlord still. It's tough, Frodan.
He can drop a point defense and he'll buy some time too. Make sure he doesn't get caught by any kind of corruptors. The Seeker missiles are now starting. Polt sending almost all of them together. One of the Ravens is going deep behind enemy lines. No Seeker missiles just yet. As a couple are landing, and we see the Vikings trying to take out all the anti-air. The Spore Crawlers trying to hold everything back. Golden lost so much supply in the corruptors, and there is so much tearing on this army. The SCVs getting into the fray.
Polt, are you
is able to break this line.
Are you kidding me? He still has so many Vikings left to clean up all the Broodlords. That's a massive, massive advantage. But again, just like game number 1 on Daybreak, 7 Ultras in queue. That's going to be so hard to defend yet again. It's low economy. You can see, yes, he has the 12 o'clock, not really well saturated. He has the top right and this half base. Still, I mean, you can see Golden has this bottom right-hand position. He has the top left, not saturated yet, but he should saturate pretty soon. These Ultras are going to give him so much momentum, but this is the critical timing. Polt needs to do a lot of damage while those Ultras are pretty immobile. They're just starting to, get their bearings, try to take map control, and this is where they could potentially, not be as effective as maybe 2 minutes from now.
Polt now able to clean out some of this base. He's targeting out the bottom right, he's targeting out the top left. Polt being everywhere. Droll just caught in the transfer. And Golden, he's going to lose a lot of his economy. The remaining shreds of the Zerg economy are being thrashed right in front of their faces as Golden's tech switch is not nearly as effective as it was in game number 1. Polt has 5 bases. Golden has only 4.
Frodan, this is looking really, really good for Polt. Golden down to 95 supply. What a supply swing. And it's really because of Golden's inactivity, I feel like. That last battle, of course, it looked really good for Polt with those Hunter-Seeker missiles, but he could have prevented that. Golden could have prevented that by really forcing the issue a little bit faster. The problem was he had no indicator. He had no way to really tell himself, hey, I can push here. But he needs to test the waters, always be mobile. Don't be so static at this end game stage, because that's where you really get to see, okay, my opponent has this much, I can sacrifice an Overlord and really get a good count of what my opponent has. Here we go, might have a little engagement right here.
I mean,
but great positioning.
Polt has just so many units.
Look at this.
Stacked up. He's got everything. He's also putting back more tanks because he's scouted the Ultralisk. And now he's able to really slowly pincer his opponent away, little by little, whittling down the creep tumor count. Golden's running out of space. It's not like he can get good flank anymore. And if the battle does engage, it's not going to be dictated by Golden's terms.
Wow. Frodan, look at the supplies. 200, 200 to 106 out of 200. That's so substantial. I can't believe Polt turned this around. It really shows you how good of a player he is. Income tab, 36 Harvesters to 48. This is where the mules are going to be so effective. Can Golden pull something out of his hat, though? Because it's going to be so hard to do so. You can see Polt just, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Oh, he neuroparasited
it's
a Raven.
Beautiful.
And I'm starting having car bots flashbacks, man. The Raven's going. You see that Golden does lose another base in the top left as Polt cleaning up more action here. And he's not overcommitting. He's just slowly strangling his opponent. No bases to mine means no remaxed army.
There's no need to be aggressive. Aggression just puts him in a terrible position. Again, throwing down those auto turrets and then killing himself.
It's really nice.
What is it called?
It's a flashy way to do it, too. But he's using his own energy to kill itself. Like, why are you hitting yourself, Raven? Why are you hitting yourself?
Poor Raven, man. And Golden has no good target. I mean, he can't even attack. He's just going around back and forth, trying to deal a little bit of damage, trying to find a weakness, but we know Polt has no weakness. He has the perfect line right here. Now, Siege Tanks are moving up a little bit faster over to the side. This is like the last 2 mining bases, though. If this is lost, that's actually a substantial amount of income that Golden doesn't have anymore. And he still has a lot of room to max. This whole time, we have a big bank over for Polt's side. And Golden might be inclined to make a move here. He's feels like he's percolating. He wants to push in.
Yeah, he's being taunted slowly. In fact, his Ultras are kind of on the AI of their own. And Golden, well, he took so much damage, he's just going to go for it anyways. Infestors are trying to pop whatever energy they have left and trying to save some for Fungos. But Polt can defend on all of these fronts and continue to pressure this last remaining mining base from Golden. Although he does have a fresh expansion into the bottom center as well. Polt is able to attack everywhere. Golden trying to hold on to whatever he can, but I don't think he can overcome this supply deficit.
Yeah, Golden needs a miracle in this point. He needs the best fungal growths possible. Does he have the gas? Yes, he does, but he doesn't really have the minerals. That's what's so hard. Here's the big engagement, and oh my gosh, that Siege Tank fire. So massive, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing that Golden can do. He's running out of ability to back up. I mean, he's backed into a corner, and Polt has the bottom center platform where he can continue to lay assault after assault onto these bases. Golden is refusing to leave the game.
Frodan,
Polt is researching high-sec auto-tracking, and the game has gone way too long.
No, man. No, that's the right decision in this position.
He's using proxy
now he
turrets.
needs Neo Steel frame, and then he's good.
Then he can do 6 Marines in a bunker.
Then he has the game 100%.
There's nothing really that Golden can hope for. He can try to mass up whatever units. He does have a big gas count. He's just trying to collect whatever minerals he can to make units. Imagine if you can convert all of that 1,200 gas into units. Big run-by attempt here at the center expansion here for Polt, but the planetary and tanks clean up so easily. Golden's trying to do something to trade efficiently, but he's losing more than Polt is.
And it's amazing how Polt is putting a stranglehold on his opponent on a map like Abyssal City. I mean, how does that happen? GG gets called out, and Polt takes game number 3. Beautifully done. As I was saying, how do you put a stranglehold, a positional stranglehold on your opponent when there's so many counter-attacking positions? Somehow Polt was able to do it. It really is a testament to his skill. I mean, that's such a hard thing to do, to back your opponent into a corner, to say, if you don't defend this position, you're dead. And Polt was able to do that.
Yeah, I think we just witnessed the first ever StarCraft 2 noogie by Polt, man. He just kept Golden here and just kept harassing him and just said, I'm never going to let you expand. And being able to contain him to death, Golden couldn't hold on for any longer, and that allowed him to carry on to a Game 3 victory.
That's right.
The Game of Series was brought to you by Audible. To download a bestseller, go to nasl.tv/p/audible to check out all the collection of books. Whether it's through a Kindle, an iPad, or an MP3 player, you can download everything and use our page to do it. We'll be back with game number 4 between Polt versus Golden. This is Golden's last chance, or will he be able to tie it up for a comeback win? We'll find out right after this break.